As a child, did you have the opportunity to participate in outdoor environmental education, such as field trips to farm or even school-based garden lessons? If you answered yes, just like I did, you should feel fortunate, as not every child has the opportunity to go beyond the four walls of a classroom for learning opportunities, especially students of color. In order for students to build a better understanding of science, they need the opportunity to gain strategic knowledge through formal education and the investigative skills that guided exploration in nature offer. Unequal access to basic educational resources are what scholars deem as distributive injustice. In education, this looks like underlying logistical barriers, such as public school funding, that often prevent marginalized students from participating in outdoor environmental education programs. With the shift to online learning due to COVID-19, these distributive injustices began to amplify. As noted in a study conducted by Lawrence Hall of Science, they predict that by the end of 2020, nearly 11 million students will have lost their opportunity to participate in outdoor environmental education. And of those students, 58% of them being disadvantaged youth. Past studies have analyzed the role of outdoor environmental education in a child's learning, but few have actually addressed the potential access disparities for underserved youth. With this in mind, I was curious to see how community organizations here in the San Francisco Bay Area work to facilitate equitable access to their programs for students of color. Through 21 interviews with community educators from 9 organizations, I found that funding was a major barrier that prevented these students from participating. These organizations work to address this issue by gaining external funding, such as donations and grants, in order to better support these students. Additionally, I theorize that these access disparities were solely produced by schools. However, my findings show that they're also produced on the side of community organizations, as they're limited in the amount of schools they can serve each year due to being small nonprofits, which actually also impacted the amount of outreach they can do to new schools. With these interviews, I created recommendations for both the organizations and scholars within the field, such as conducting a full evaluative assessment, such as using GIS to analyze the schools each of the organizations serve in order to identify schools that are being neglected. It is the hope that these recommendations and the study continue the conversation in addressing inequities in environmental education, as well as inspire the development of just strategies that allow all students of color equitable opportunities to access outdoor environmental education, just like you and I.